Welcome to Bulls and Reds Advent Calendar. Let's see what's behind today's door. Number 20 already. 20th of December. It's Friday. It's definitely not Friday the 13th, so that's pretty good. So we're getting closer to Christmas Eve. And Richard, what is behind today's door and why do we have to talk about something like this?
Well, football isn't always enjoyable and it's not always as you wanted it to be. And although it's very painful, I think we have to bear in mind that where we come from, and sometimes we have just heartbreaking losses. And one of those, I think, worst losses we ever conceded, in my opinion, was the 0-4 defeat on Friday, the 8th of May 2015.
Oh my God.
77 on this day, 70 years after the surrender from the Deutsche Reich, we surrendered at least from the start of the second half to SV Sandhausen.
Okay.
And how we went into this match was like, okay, we were sitting on 47 points, 7 points shy of the relegation spot on rank 3. And everyone was like, okay, it's now Sandhausen, and then the next match we have to travel to Ingolstadt. That was table leader in the second Bundesliga back in those days. And the very last match we're going to face Kräuter Fürth. And if we could come up with 9 points out of the last 3 games, then we might end up with 58, and that could be enough for at least participating in the relegation for the promotion to the first Bundesliga. Yeah, but... things went horribly wrong.
Obviously.
Obviously. And it was a Friday, 6:30. I think it was like 18,000 people in the stands. And, we had not a good start into the game, only a few chances. And then Marco Tide make it 0-1. And everyone was like, oh, come on, no, not today. And we just made it into the halftime, and so it was like, okay, second half is going to be ours. We're going to turn things around, and we're going to take home the victory. But, there was this certain man, Aziz Bouadouz, who scored a hat-trick within 20 minutes.
Oh, my God.
And it was, and it felt like it was always the same. It felt like, okay, really, a counter-attack, and we were just sleeping. Our defense was just sleeping. Okay, now it's 2-0. So it was like after 54 minutes, and we still were not that optimistic as we were in the beginning of the match, but still had some kind of mood. Okay, we still might find the switch to turn things around. But this didn't take long, because only 5 minutes later he scored again, and it was 0-3. And it was like, come on, this is a nightmare. That cannot be true. And there was just any last illusion that I had, and I think most of any other had, and starting into this match, that we might end up in the relegation spot, was just destroyed.
You mean promotion?
After this. And so, yeah, this first season in the second Bundesliga ended with, I think we ended in the 5th place. And with the view back, it wasn't that bad that we lost that game. So we lost the next one at Ingolstadt 2-1 as well. Okay. And only managed to get one final win versus Fürth. So we had 50 points at the end of the season. So it wouldn't have been enough anyway. Just, yeah, even if we had won those last 3 matches, and we would have ended up with 58 points, we very likely would not have made it, because I think it was Kaiserslautern. Yes, Kaiserslautern ended up with 58 points and a goal differential of +20, and we had +7, of course, with this 4-goal defeat versus Sandhausen and this 1-goal defeat versus Ingolstadt in the record books. But anyway, we would have needed, wide margin wins, and it wouldn't have been enough anyway. But on this day, on this Friday, 8th of May, it was just devastating. And you have a little something to add here, right? You're remembering.
I wasn't
some
there,
funny things
but I was aware of the match. Yeah, and I remember there were not so many supporters from Sandhausen actually there. Do you remember how there was a small group, weren't they?
Yeah, like a dozen.
And what I read, those dozen formed a long lane we called polonaise, and they just walked through the stadium celebrating. And the good thing about RB Leipzig is this is not a place which reacts hostile to that. Well, at least not with fans like this. And I think a lot of people were smiling and understanding that, hey, let them celebrate because they deserve it. And it was so funny. They made this trek out to Leipzig, 12 people, and they saw this incredible win. So yeah, Richard, I didn't know that you were actually there.
Yeah, but we took revenge a few years later in the very first round of the DFB Pokal. It was the very first match of Jesse March, and we took away the 4-0 win.
Yeah!
At Sandhausen.
And that was the first win to the first cup win, wasn't it? It was in that season.
Yeah, it was that season.
There you go. So historic. And that shuts our door for today.